Hello YouTube, welcome to your 12th C++ tutorial. In this video I will be showing you more on switch statements. So this is the copied code from tutorial 11, and I'm just going to modify it even more. So we'll still work with integers right now, and let's say we want to enter in the number 1, which 1 is considered zeros because it's between 0 and 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let me go ahead and compile and run this. And basically what's going to happen is it's going to say default triggered. Okay, well the default trigger, that's weird. Let me write an end line right here just for readability. So I'll just compile it again. See how it says default triggered and then it ended that line. Okay, that's weird. 1 is a zeros. Well, since switch statements are specific and they're not ranges, it looks for a 1. Well, there's a way around this, and what you can do is you can do a space and write ... and then you can write 10. And basically what it'll do is it'll search from 0 until 10, and if any of them match up with the number variable, then it'll output this. So let me go ahead and, let me just change this to 11, because it says down here duplicate case value, because you have 10 and then I had 10 case 10, so I mean you don't want it twice. So let me go ahead and build and run this, and it says you entered zeros. Okay, and now just for a reality check, let's just enter in a 9. So number is now equal to 9, and that should also be a part of the zeros. Okay, you entered zeros. Okay, so now let's do the same thing. 11 through, actually, you know what? This actually should be a 9, shouldn't it? Let me enter in 10 through 19. Let me change that to 19. Okay, so let's compile and run this. And you entered 10s because 19 is part of this range. And similarly, we can have 20 to 29. And then let's just have, that's fine, 20 to 29. So we'll enter in 20, okay? Why not? So let me compile and run this. It's going to look through the switch statement, and it says you entered 20s, okay? Now, so that is all situated. So that's ranges. You can either list out every case 1, case 2. As you can see, this gets kind of daunting, meaning that it takes quite a while and it's kind of a boring and annoying task. So if you use the 3 dots, that's how you can do ranges, and it basically goes from this point through this point. So everything that you include here is included. So 9, if you have 9, it's included. If you have 0, it's included. It's not kind of like it goes up until 9, it goes up through 9. Okay, so now let me take a little break out of this. Let me change this number, and let's do, how about a char? Okay, char, and let's just say selection equals, now let's just change this to y. Basically, what this can be useful for, and why I named it selection, is because in the future you may want to say, you know, would you like to end this program? Enter y or n. Okay, well, say their selection is y. Okay, so now what it's going to do is it's going to run the switch statement on selection. Okay, so let's say case y. Okay, and now remember, this is a character, which characters have the single quote, so that's why you need this character. Okay, so let's say you said yes. Okay, and then for right here, let's just say case, let's say they enter in an n. Let's say you said no, and then let's take this out because it's either a yes or no. We're not going to have a maybe. Let's have a default. Let's say default triggered. Well, instead of having default triggered, let's just say you entered an invalid selection. Or you made an invalid selection. Okay, so let's go ahead and build and run this. And basically, you said yes, because we set the selection equal to y, and it looked for, hey, when does it equal y? Well, it equals y right here. You said yes. Now let's break out of this statement right here, the switch statement. So now let's say they said no. Okay, go ahead and build and run this. You said no. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Now let's write M for maybe. Say they wanted to be funny and say maybe. Okay, let's go ahead and compile and run this. You made an invalid selection. The reason is because M wasn't a case, so it went to the default value, or the default statement, and it triggered that. So let's say they entered in a capital Y. Maybe you didn't specify if you want a lowercase or capital, so maybe they just decided to enter in a capital. Let's go ahead and compile and run. We should get, you said yes, right? You made an invalid selection. Let's go back into our code. Well, if you notice here, we have it specifically, explicitly saying if they enter in a lowercase y, you said yes. So there's a way, what you can do is you can add another switch case. Okay, so let me go ahead and add one for no too. Might as well get them all out of the way. Lowercase and then capital. Lowercase and then uppercase. Okay, so now everything should be set because we justified and said, hey, when they enter in a capital, we also want it to treat it as yes. So let's go ahead and build and run that. So you said yes. However, maybe you have a menu of 20 options and you don't want to actually have 40 switch statements, because that would be really annoying and that would take up a lot of space. That would increase the scope or the size of your code. So there's a way around this. What you can do is you can say, you can delete this, the first entry. So basically what this is going to do is, let me just keep this space just so you can kind of tell. Remember when I said if you don't add the break, it's kind of like the entry point, and it keeps going until it either ends the switch statement or it finds a break out of that statement. Well, what this does is, let's change this to a lowercase y really quick. It goes through and it says, okay, yep, this lowercase y matches with this lowercase y. So here's my entry point. Now I'm going to keep running. Oh, I found a break. Let me stop. So even though you're going to be on a case with the capital Y, even though you entered in lowercase y, these two things will be treated as the same. So just so you don't take up as many lines of code, you can actually put these cases on the same line if you would like. It's personal preference. Just make sure you keep this colon because that's part of the statement. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me just keep it separated just so you can kind of see. So let me go ahead and compile and run this. And it says you said yes. Once again, it checks for an entry point. Well, the lowercase y is the entry point, so it's going to keep running until it finds break. Okay, well, it found break right here, so it's done. So similarly, let's enter in n. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen? Well, it's going to find this lowercase n, and then it's going to find that as the entry point, and it's going to keep running until it finds a break statement. So let me go ahead and compile and run this. And it says you said no. Also, let me just change this to a capital N, and it's going to skip right over top of this because it doesn't match up with the lowercase n, but it matches up with the capital N. Okay, so it's going to find the capital N as its entry point, and it's going to keep running. Okay, so you said no. So just for further clarification, if you still don't understand, let me just do a cout statement, and let's just say entry point is y. Okay, and this line. Okay, let me start with the lowercase y. Okay, so basically what's going to happen is it's going to come through this. It's going to find this as its entry point because it compares it. It's going to run all of this case's code, and it's going to keep running until it finds that break statement. So let me go ahead and compile and run this. Just to show you, the entry point is y, and then it goes down. So that right here, the entry point is y, then it goes down and keeps running until it finds break. Okay? So I just wanted to show you that the case, even though that's the entry point, it doesn't skip it. It still executes everything, but if you don't have anything for it to execute, you don't have any commands or any statements or anything, it just will do nothing. If you don't have anything there, it won't do anything. So that's how you do that, and that comes in handy if you're having, like I said, if you have menus, you can have other options. Case, say maybe they want maybe, or maybe you're writing a love letter program where you're asking someone out and then they can enter in Y or N. It would really suck if they entered in a capital Y and you didn't have that accounted for, and it treated it as you made an invalid selection. Well, yeah, they wanted to go out with you, but since you didn't code in that capital Y for it to count for that capital Y, it'll say you made an invalid selection. The person will be like, well, forget you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks a lot.